Take two. This is Stephen, the Disney Drago Robinson. You're watching the one and only Sport Icon. Bow!
Stephen, how's everything?
Good, Martin. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you very much. So I'm here, you've just done your usual workout, your daily routines, all that kind of stuff, looking good, looking sharp. Proper camp starts next week then, I'm presuming, with your sparring and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, obviously we confirmed last week, start of this week, a fight date, so a little bit too short notice to get sparring in, the correct type of sparring. So we've picked up the cardio, we've picked up the pads and time to spar next week, and it'll give us a good 4 weeks. 4 times 4 spars a week, so looking forward to it.
Now you're fighting Franklin Ignatius, undefeated. Cast your minds back to probably about this time last year. I asked you what do you want to do going forward, and you said I want to take a lot of these people's zeros. You've already done Campbell, Ignatius is next.
Yeah, as I've said a million times, I never lost against Shane Gill. I learned. I went in there, I took the loss, but I learned from it. And as I say, I was at a low time in my life. I come back, we took Nick Campbell's zero. It's time to take Frank's zero, Franklin's. And listen, fair play to Franklin for taking this fight, because there's a lot of people who have made the mouth go on social media, shithouses, who have said, I'll fucking fight him, I'll do this to him, I'll do that to him. And then when we've accepted the fight, there's something come up. And fair play to Franklin. Franklin says, I want that fight, and Franklin's took the fight. So, as I say, he's clearly a fighter on the same path as me, who wants to get away, wants to go quite quick. And as I say, good luck to him for doing that, but unfortunately, that zero's going to be taken.
And his fights with Jose Stewart, he's proved that he is actually climbing the rankings. Jose Stewart's a good scalp.
Definitely. When Jose turned pro, I think a lot of people looked at him and sort of put him sort of on the back step because of his size, but he's been in with the world's best. You know, he was down at GB, and he is a very, very good, technically amateur boxer, turned over, and he's still young. I think he took that loss and he's bouncing back, and I think he'll do well, and he'll do well in the pro game.
Now this is going to be on a Wasserman show. You're going to be getting tickets soon, I believe?
Yeah, I think the tickets come, we've ordered 150, so I think they'll, from what we've heard, they'll go quite quick. It's a fantastic show on DAZN. Josh Kelly's on it, as well as some other big names, so I think it'll sell out quite quick because it's only in a 3,500 arena.
Now, through no fault of your own, you're supposed to have fought beforehand. It was going to be a title, and fights get pulled. That's the downside of boxing, but you've got to be happy that you've got this one set in.
You know, the politics of boxing shit. You don't get learned, you don't get taught any of it when you're going in, and you've got to. This is why I always say you have to have the right people around you, because there are times in boxing, as well as boxing being a lonely sport, there's times where you do get fucking thrown under the bus so much, and you get promised the world, and you know, that soon just declines, and it's about having the right people around you to keep your chin up. And fortunately, as I said, I've got the right people around me, and you know, we've worked very hard, tired to get a fight, and we're meant to be fighting in February, they're meant to be fighting in April, they're meant to be fighting, you know, in June 24th, funny enough, and that's the date we've been given, but that date was given to a while ago. That then got pulled, so I disappeared for a little bit, stepped back a little bit from training, but listen, we've got a date. All that's behind us now. You can't change what hasn't happened. It's about making sure that you change the future and being ready for anything that comes up. And I had some crazy phone calls for some crazy fights. I won't mention any names, but one was an Olympic gold medalist. We accepted that, so that just goes to show that, you know, we're on the path of we know where we're going to get to, and we accepted that, but unfortunately that got declined off the people higher above us. But these fights are going to come, and this win on the 24th of June will get these fights, and I'm not worried about taking these fights because, as I say, I know where I want to go, I know where I need to get to, and I will get there.
Now, last time you fought at the Virtue Arena, formerly known as the Eagles Arena, it was like a sauna in there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was disgusting. I think they turned the heating on instead of the aircon. Then there was an hour interval to try and get the building to cool down because people were refusing to box. And by the time we got in there, I think it was something ridiculous, like 34 degrees. I mean, but you look back to George Foreman and Ali, and you know, I'm sure that was around about the same temperature. So it was. I felt like I was in the Manila. But yeah, it was warm. But it's a great venue. It's new. It's held quite a lot of boxing shows now that always seem to be of a good scalp, and it's a very good venue. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's in my hometown.
Now, when you're going through like a previous potential opponents, you know, one of them's a Hennessy fighter, which we won't mention that little rat ass's name because he's a coward. You always put Ignatius above a lot of these guys. You said like some time ago that you want Franklin Ignatius because you put him above these other guys.
Ignatius is a very, very, very tidy boxer. He's a good boxer, and he's a good scalp. He goes over and spars with the likes of Hrgovic. He's a tough competitor. He's a tough opponent. And he's got that zero. There's other people got that zero, but that zero is very bubble wrapped, very mollycoddled. And you know, I beat Ignatius, and it's like it's another step in the right direction. I beat some of these kids, and it's like, oh, okay, he's beat them, but who had he fought previous to that? I feel like Ignatius's name is a lot more reputable and respectable than these other names getting given to us, and it's listen. As I've just said earlier, there's a lot of people who would enjoy sitting on social media. I don't. Me with social media, I use social media for two things: one, a piss take, just to have a laugh and show the type of person I am, and two, is a marketing tool for me. I'm from an area where if somebody said this about you in school, if somebody said that about you in the street, my dad would take us and my dad would make us fight that person. Social media is different to that, and it's hard to grasp that social media is what makes fights. It's social media is what does this, but I find that shithousery. I'm not going to sit and call somebody out on social media, because for me, I'd rather go down the gym and say, listen, we're not going to get it on live on Wasserman, we're not going to get it live on Sky, we're not going to get it live on DAZN. Let's fight in the fucking ring, let's do 10 rounds, 10-ounce gloves, let's have with coaches, nothing but with coaches, and let's go. You know, till the first one knocks the other person out. That would be my, but obviously you can't do that, and it's hard to balance of sitting on social media and doing a video going, right, I want to fight this person. I come across as fake, I come across as a knob, and I just find all that patronising. I respect every person, male or female, that steps through them ropes. You know, I know how hard it is, I know how lonely it is, I know what a camp's like, I know what dieting's like, I know what the sparring's like, I know what the training's like. So I respect every person. So to disrespect somebody on social media isn't me. I find it unnecessary. But at the same time, on the night, listen, I'll give you the utmost respect that you deserve, but on the night, I've got a job to do. And exactly like the Roman times and Valhalla, we're in that, you know, pit. We're in that ring, and there's only one person coming out, and with his hands lifted, and that's got to be me, unfortunately. So whatever I need to do, I need to do.
How many rounds this one? Is it an 8-rounder?
Yeah, 8-rounder. I'm not stepping back down. It's 8s or 10s now throughout. And that's another thing that we found. These people were calling us out and they wanted it over a 4-rounder. Anybody who's watched me can see that I am very, very slow at starting. You know, I'm a bit like Viagra. I'm slow at starting, but when I get there, I finish. Yeah, I'm like, you know, imagine sitting in the queue for an hour at Alton Towers and you get on the ride and that's it over with. That's me. I'm an 8 to 10 round fighter. It'll take us 3 to 4 rounds to get into a rhythm. Then when we do, you know, 4 rounds, no good. 6 rounds, pushing it, because if I'm 3-4 rounds down, we're seeing against Shane Gill, I'm fucked. But against Shane Gill in the 4th, 5th and 6th, I think I come into my own a little bit, but it was a bit too late. But regardless to that, it's going to be 8s or 10s going forward. It's got to be.
Okay then, so anybody wants tickets, hit you up on your socials, and Mark and that as well.